What if you had to convince them to stay with you? What if I asked you, do they inspire you? Today we're going to be talking about, should I stay or should I leave? Welcome back to a new episode of Finding Love.
Make me feel complete. Years old, you got me years old. Baby, you're all that I need. No one can be what you mean to me. Boy, I know you need this.
So you've had time to answer those 3 questions in your head, but we have 4 additional questions that we need to dive into, and these will help you navigate if your relationship has the staying power for you guys to stay in it, or if you should cut your losses and keep it moving. The first question is, are they invested in you? And how do you know this?
One of the things is, do you even allot time for me? Are they making time in their schedule? Because ain't nobody got free time. Ain't no time free, right? Are you making sure that we have an opportunity to talk, have an opportunity to share an interest, have some time, some face time together?
And think about this as well. If the guy that's taking you out, he's got all this bravado, he's got all this charisma, and all he's talking about is himself, how much money he makes, what he does for a living, what his story is, where he has traveled to, but he's not tapping into your side of the story, or vice versa. All she's talking about is her and what she wants to achieve and what she wants out of a relationship versus trying to find out about your background.
Absolutely.
Trying to figure out what you care about and what your goals are.
And we've talked about like not sitting down for dinner and just shooting questions, right? But if somebody has never asked you if you want children, has never asked you if you aspire to be married, has never talked through what you do in your career field, this is for tonight, honey. They don't care about what's going on in the future. They're not looking to build with you.
Yeah. And as you're dating, are they carving out time for you? Because they can like you, but are they making time? Because honestly, that is the most precious commodity.
Oh, yeah.
And are they paying attention to the things that are making you sad? And are they responding to that in a soft way?
Yeah.
And these are the things that you can look at to see if they are truly invested in you, because people typically will tell you what they want and need.
Yeah.
But are they tapped in enough to see if they're tuned in with you, they're trying to learn you, and trying to be conscious and care about the things that you want even more?
Yeah. And I just think that at this big age, it's a lot more blended families, right?
It is.
So now you're dating someone who has their career, they got their children, and then they got their dating world. And maybe even in between there, they got their spiritual life too, right?
Yeah.
Where are you falling on this tier of all of the things that are so important to me? How are you making yourself an asset to this person that is driven in their career, is a solid parent, right? That is serving at church and doing other things. How are you making yourself an asset in their lives? And how are they inviting you into their space of what's already been carved out? That's huge.
So do they like you? Are they playing with you? Or are they investing in you?
That's good. What's the next question?
Question number 2. Do you feel like an argument will end your relationship?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, the biggest thing in relationships is figuring out how you mesh together. And something that comes up in every single relationship, whether it's a friendship or parenting or anything, is conflict. And how you deal with that. So do you even have the space where you feel like you can bring something up to that person, right? They did something that is just against your morals, or you just didn't like, or it made you feel a certain way, but you don't want to rock the boat. And you don't feel comfortable enough to bring that up to that person. I don't know if this could be your forever person.
I think this is so important because this is the compass of if somebody actually possesses the emotional maturity to even be in a relationship. Because this person has to be able to pay attention and have high regard for your feelings and be able to listen to it so that they can digest them and be able to not dismiss you, not twist up their face, and receive it, and then make the positive adjustments and changes so that you guys can move forward. It's so often that people do not fight fair. They do not argue fair, and they're constantly at odds. When you guys are in an argument, and when that fight comes, which it will come, are we going to try to practice as if we are on the same team? Or are we going to try to see who can throw the biggest haymaker and the hardest blows to hurt each other? And that's an argument that can arise and has a potential to just blow up everything that you guys have potentially been building.
Yeah. And on the flip side, if you're the person that is not allowing yourself to tell them something or to start the conversation to even see if it would be a conflict, are you invested enough? Because you got to be willing to fight. Let's fight through this thing, right? And if I'm saying, you know what, I'm just not even trying to rock the boat. I'm just keep this to myself. Are you invested enough to make sure that this is the person that will fulfill you moving forward, right? So it's like on the flip side of, oh, I don't know if they will argue properly, is are you willing to see? Sometimes you got to say the words. You got to do the things and then work through that first argument. Now that first argument, they start throwing balls, raising their voices, throwing stuff on the floor. Okay, red flag. But if they argue defensively, like most people, most humans do, you say, hey, I want us to operate from a space of oneness, right? I want us to practice how we want to become in the future. And you say, I didn't respond well to how you treated me in that last argument. And then they make a switch. Now we talking. But if you never bring up what is wrong, or you have these, what did you say the other day? We did a hosting at a church. You said
unmet expectations.
Unmet expectations that you ain't never even said. Huh? How is this person failing on your checklist that they were never provided in the beginning? So being willing to go through that conflict and have conflict resolution that works for the both of you is a big part of if this is somebody that is willing to go the long distance with you.
So much of that is emotional maturity. And that's where you even see if the other person possesses the ability to even go into a relationship and be able to deal with those challenging times and those challenging conversations where we can still build through. All right?
For sure.
So will that conversation that turns into an argument or a fight doesn't have the potential to end your relationship at any moment? So ask yourself that question. Question number 3. Do they challenge you in a healthy way? This is so important because I think so many relationships, they mess with confidence. So the challenge becomes bringing you anxiety, second guessing yourself, second guessing your power and your ability to thrive in the world, not just alone in this relationship, but does it challenge you in a healthy way?
I feel like a lot of times we bring so much baggage. And the baggage could be from how you saw your parents growing up, or it could be from past relationships. And going into this new relationship and learning this new person, they must show you how to love them properly, right? And so that means you got to get rid of all of this extra stuff, all this stuff you've been taught, that you've learned, that you've rinsed and repeated with other relationships. You have to relearn. And that challenge, the first thing is, are you willing to accept that challenge, right? And if you know you're with someone who you are constantly saying, I'm not him, I'm not her, I don't do that, I don't like that, are they challenging themselves to get out of their own way? To learn you, to love you, right? And then the second part is, are you willing to accept that challenge? Are you getting out of your own way? Or are you stuck in, this is what a man should do, right? Too often, I think that, especially emotionally intelligent men, or even just book smart intelligent men, you guys are like, no, I know what to do. I know how to do this thing. I'm going to lead you, and I got this. Well, my kind sir, you might have had it before, and you might have the right idea and the framework to build that foundation, and you will be the leader of this whole courtship. However, it is so important that you allow this woman to challenge everything you think you know in order to make sure that you are also being the type of leader and the type of man and the type of spouse that that woman needs.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's also important that they challenge you to grow in communication and not to sabotage the relationship, which I think becomes innate in the subconscious of so many relationships. And it made me think of one of our first conflicts in dating. And I just remember everything was so smooth until this first conflict. And I don't even know what it was.
I
But
don't either, but
yeah,
I know I went off.
you went off. And so
What's
I'm like,
happening here?
okay, cool. So my rinse and repeat process is, okay, it's just time to go.
Yeah.
But what happened there, something must have came over you and you sent me a text that totally disarmed me and also had me access a part of my mind and my heart that I had never accessed before, where I said, hold on, we can't mess this up. And to me, I think that was the first time that you challenged me to go deeper and said, okay, this is different and I need to actually treat this differently. And I think that was the first time for me, at least, that I really took our relationship serious and I tried to do things that would handle the relationship with care.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the first time that you challenged me to go deeper in communication.
That same time you challenged me, okay? So, again, we can never remember what it was.
Yeah.
And I want to just go through the text.
'Cause it
from
probably
10
didn't
years
matter.
ago. But whatever it was, it made me go off, right? And again, that baggage.
Yeah.
I was what's up? Let's fight.
Yeah.
And what I said and how I said it was intentional to get a reaction out of him.
Yeah.
And he didn't give me that. Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me go back to the drawing board. Did I hit all of the buttons I was supposed to hit?
Yeah.
Because I'm ready to fight. And it was like a child. I had to go take me a nap. I would have took me a nap. I done worked myself up so bad I had to lay down. So I get up and I still haven't heard from him. And it challenged me to think about why I reacted the way that I did. What exactly did he do, right? Is it something I need to communicate to him that he did wrong? Or is this something that I'm bringing up because it's something that has happened in my past? And it ended up being that he had exhibited a sign that I had seen before, and I don't like where that goes. I didn't like this path of where it goes. And instead of just saying that, I wanted to duke it out and say, come over here to this path, come over to Death Row Records, instead of being like, babe, I've seen this before. And I don't like the trajectory of where this goes. And so I woke up and said that.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Hey, I went off because I saw us going the wrong direction, and that's my bad. That's on me to fix. That's not on you to fix, right? And I didn't ask a question or, say, do you agree or do you forgive me? It wasn't like that. I just wanted to let him know that I've already self-checked.
Yeah.
I've already checked on me, and I appreciate him for not matching my energy. Right. And then he was like, you want to go eat? We went to go eat.
Yeah.
And we've been together ever since.
That's
It
right.
could be that simple. But I said that to say that the challenge was on both ends. Both of us were used to doing something a certain way, and it didn't work for either of us. Sure. So the challenge was in making sure that we held ourselves accountable and checked ourselves, but it was also in making sure we were listening to our partners.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And I think that that's a big, big part of growing in relationships.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that you're challenging yourself emotionally, especially in those heated conversations or debates or fights. Because if you challenge yourself to go deeper, or you see that your partner's going deeper, you guys can start accessing different parts of your heart and your mind where you can say, okay, we are both trying to communicate something that we want. We just need to make sure that we're disarming ourselves so that we can try to hear each other clearly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so another thing, and this is in the dating process,
Yeah.
that you're trying to see if this is something sustainable that you can build with, or if it's time to go. So there's going to be moments where you're challenging them to love you, but you are also challenging yourself to be loved. A lot of the time, you're challenging yourself to be loved in a way that has never, ever touched you before.
Yeah.
And this is such a vulnerable time, but it's such a crucial time, and it needs to be reciprocated, and you need to see it on their part, and they need to feel it on your part.
And I think what you just said speaks to everything we've been talking about, and it is intentionality.
Yes.
If you are dating, trying to figure out, could this person be my person? You gotta go through some things with them. And you have to allow yourself at least some level of vulnerability to be able to go through some real things with them.
That's right.
And conflict resolution, no matter what the conflict is essential to relationship building.
That's right.
And I think that when you're just having fun or just, kicking it or just going to watch the Pistons play, please win, or whatever, you get into a space where it's more just companionship or maybe even a little bit of a friendship, but you're not really getting to any of the things that matter in real life. So a big part of dating is allowing yourself the openness to say, I know that I'm built to be a wife. Okay? And I know what it takes to be a wife. And I am looking to grow further in being my husband's wife. Right? And I think those things balanced in with asking real questions, with allowing yourself to be open, with making sure you're making the investment to be available to their schedule, and you're making the investment to want to learn them more. Those are the things that matter in an intentional dating situation. If you don't know if this person got siblings and y'all done been on 3 dates, or if you never asked them if they have children, or if you never asked them if they want children, what are y'all talking about? What is this? You just hanging? Yeah, you can do that when you're, 19, 20, 21. The 25 and up, the 35 and up crowd? Knock, knock.
Grown folks only.
Grown folks, I need you to lay it on the table. What are you trying to do? And are their values in accordance to what you want out of life?
So you have to ask yourself, are they challenging you and breaking you down? Or are they challenging you and it's building you up?
That's it.
So next one, the final question is, what is our plan?
Intentionality. What are we doing here? Are we just dinner dates? Are we just getting our rocks off? Let's get to it. What are we doing here? And are you, and I said that because a lot of times, maybe it's been some time since you dated and you do need to get your rocks off, right? I'm going to need you to purchase a rose because you have to make sure that you're not giving the goodies away just because you just need some loving right now, because that sends mixed signals.
That's right.
If we got down and dirty day one before I ever took you on a date, I some gears gonna have to shift that I didn't even have in place in my mind, right? And it made me think about the comedian Lavelle, young guy. He did this video. Little story time. He did this video and he said, if you're going on a date with somebody and you walk into his car and he don't open up the door, he said, go back in the house. He said, okay, now if he open up the door and there's no flowers on the seat, go back in the house. Then he says, if he open up the door, there's flowers on the seat, and then you sit down and he say, well, where you want to eat? He said, throw them flowers down and go back in the house. And it's so funny, but for real. Not in those simple of terms, but is this person showing up for you in a manner that you want your potential spouse to? And are you showing up for them in a way that says or screams, I'm a wife, I'm a husband? Okay? So just think about that. When you're thinking about what you want to do and who you want to become together, it needs to start on day one. On day one. Y'all exchange numbers, say, I expect a phone call from you. Right? Or, you know you ain't gonna answer that phone. Shoot me a text later.
Yeah.
I start day one.
Clarity is key.
Clarity is essential.
Yeah. I think so often in relationships, they start by playing house. And it's such a dangerous game because when you play house, there's two people playing house. But the problem is that typically guys, we're playing house because we like to play house. It's fun to play house. Yeah. But women, they're playing house because they're looking for a relationship. But what happens in playing house, that when real conflict comes up, we just sweep it under the rug. And then we just keep playing house. So longevity as far as the relationship and time is happening, but no depth is happening, and we're not building a foundation that is sturdy. So what happens in so many relationships that are playing house is that we allow so much time to pass that we get comfortable and we get stuck in these relationships where we are not asking the right questions. And while he's playing house because he likes it, she's playing house and she's going to get her feelings hurt.
Yeah. I mean, that's simple and good because you're playing house and you getting meals. You know, house clean, it smell good. You ain't never had no candles in your house. Now it's candles all lit. You know, it's the woman's touch all over that place, right? You're coming home and you got a warm body in your bed no matter what. And then don't let y'all have a kid.
Yeah.
Now you get to see your kid whenever you want to, and you got an in-house babysitter because the mama there, right?
That's right.
So it is easy to play house. It's easy to be in a relationship for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years and not have any intentions on going to the next level.
Right.
While that woman is thinking that she's showing you what it would be like to be with her forever. And then y'all get mad when he leave you after 5 years because you say you better put a ring on it. He say, well, that ain't what I'm trying to do. And then he put a ring on the next one in 6 months. Honey, she laid it down. She said, yeah, I could do all that was going on in that house before that you liked, but I'm not going to do it without being a wife, right? She showed him something different. She showed him something that intrigued him. She started to make his life even easier without being in the household. And you thinking that he was cheating on you. No, he just met her. He just met her at 7-Eleven. He just met her at church, okay? And guess what? It worked because there were boundaries, there were standards, there was clarity, there was communication. Right? And he had already gotten a taste of what he liked and didn't like with you. And the same thing needs to happen with you out of that relationship. A lot of times breakups can just tear you down to your core. And it makes you feel like a failure. And it makes you feel like you just can't get it right, or love may not be for you. But it should honestly be the most empowering moment of your life because you know exactly what you want. You know exactly what you can tolerate, and you know what your deal breakers are. So take that in stride. Take that and make sure that your next relationship is encompassing everything that you need to be fulfilled and to show up as your best self for your partner.
Yeah. So you have this longevity, but you have no depth and you have nothing to stand on in a relationship. So as this relationship progresses, it becomes this open-ended relationship that seems to just never, ever reach a destination of marriage, or it will potentially fall into a marriage that is never satisfying and will probably end in divorce.
Yeah. And I think that they got the questions, right?
Yep.
You know what you're supposed to be looking at, but I think it's important to look at some things that you might need to set in place, some boundaries, right? And time is one. Yeah. And I know people hate to hear this. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it? That's for you to determine. However, if you're holding back some things, right? You're not giving it all up on the dating stages, and you're letting them know what you're going to do and who you're going to become as their wife or as their husband. You should know how long you can do that, right? So really, what's your time frame?
Yeah.
What's your time frame to really be able to learn this person? Look at how they resolve conflict. Look at how they invest into your life. Look at how they make your life easier, right? I'm gonna go on a limb and make the time for you, but it's up to you. But I believe 2 years a day that got to be the cap. 2 years, we better be ring shopping, okay? Or 2 years, we need to be looking at what a life partnership looks like, because neither one of us want to be married for whatever the Lord knows reason, right? But just knowing some of the things that should be some standards, and time is one.
Yeah.
Asking the questions and getting real answers is key.
And no doubt about this last question of what our plan is, or what is our plan, the man needs to provide the answer to that, okay? If you guys have a plan, it's because he has communicated with you that this is what we're doing, and this is where we're going, and this is what I have planned for us.
Yeah.
So that if your friends ask you a question, which I'm not saying this should happen or there should be gossip, but you should be able to answer the question of what is our plan without any ambiguity or any pause in the conversation. You should be able to say, he has made it very clear that I am going to be his wife, and we are going to build a life and a family together. And so if you have the answers, it's because he has provided them to you.
That just leads me to this is going to be our final story time. Because we were dating for almost 2.5 years. Told you my timeline is 2, right? So about that 2-year mark, I was like, hello. And my birthday came up. My birthday's in October. And he invited all of our friends. It was, a big dinner, family, friends. Everybody's looking good. It's a good time. And at the end, he gives a toast. Mm-hmm. All my friends pull out their phones. They like, it's happening, right? He get his good old toast. That was really good, right? There was no ring. Did you buy me a necklace? You bought me some jewelry? What you?
Yeah, probably.
I don't want no necklace. I want a ring. Okay, so I'm upset. I'm upset, and I'm slightly embarrassed. Okay, I communicate that to him, and he already knows his plan. Right? He said, "Look, we can lock down a venue. We can lock down a date. It's happening." I'm like, but when? He was like, it ain't gonna happen for Christmas, and it ain't happening for New Year's, right? Because,
or
it's October. Thanksgiving, He's like, it's not happening. He said, but it's happening. Do you trust me? And in that moment, I did trust him, and I knew that my husband this is how he's gonna calm me down. And I knew that we were going to be together. That's when I knew. I told you 2-year mark. But this is when it solidified to me, I'm going to marry this man. He knows how to balance me out. He knows what I need to hear. And he knows how to lead in excellence. Yes. And so we did that. We locked down the venue. We locked down the date. All of that prior to me getting the ring. But that's another story time for another day, how he tricked me on his birthday and proposed. But, I trusted him.
That's right.
I trusted him to lead. I trusted him to communicate effectively with me and not leave me in the dark. I trusted him to have my disdain for this toast when I thought I was getting a ring. And I was able to communicate that to him and felt safe in doing so. So a lot of those levels of trust, communication, and understanding and really feeling like he was going to lead us came through us intentionally dating.
And this is going out to my brothers that don't ever let anybody rush your process, even the woman who is going to be your wife, okay? Because even if she has a timeline, you make sure that you're clear in communicating that she will be your wife and you have plans to make her your wife, but you have to execute your plan on your time and make sure that you're clear with her that you do have a plan and that you're going to be coming with me.
Yeah, I mean, men, I'm telling you, alpha women, women that got their stuff together, women deep in their careers want to be led. We need you to lead us. We need our household to run effectively without us making all of the decisions. So, a part of doing so is making sure that we know what's going on. We ain't gonna be in the dark now.
Yeah.
It is taking control of situations, and it is making sure that we feel safe and can trust you and feel protected by you. Man, you got a big, big job, and we want you to have it, but sometimes you gotta take it from us.
So ask yourself these questions. Is your partner invested in you? Do you feel like any or every potential argument can end your relationship? Do they challenge you in a healthy way? And finally, do you two have a plan for the future?
Let's toast. So I usually talk to my ladies because that's just, girl here. But I want to toast to my men. Men, you are in the driver's seats of the relationship story. From the dating and the courtship all the way through to when we get married or if we get married, you are the driver. And to be the driver in such an emotional roller coaster of a world to a woman who needs to feel safe, protected, and heard, it's a tall, tall order. So I urge you to make sure that you're looking for someone that helps make your life easier, that loves you like nobody else has, and that will fulfill you in the ways that you have communicated effectively to her. And I know that there will be a lot more healthy, lasting relationships. So to my men, take the seat and don't play with them. Cheers.
We are finally here at season 2, and we could not have done it without any of you.
We're talking all stages of relationships, from dating to courting to marriage to reaching that forever status.
We are bringing all the true stories to the forefront, and guess what? This year, we're coming back bigger, better, and stronger, and it's all because of all of you.
So stay tuned for what we're going to do next. We are on all platforms at I Am Finding Love, and be sure to subscribe to our website at IamFindingLove.com.
And do not forget, tune in each and every Friday as you keep asking us questions and we keep delivering the answers.
Baby, you're all that I need. No, I can be what you mean to me. Make me feel complete. It's OD, you got me, it's OD. Baby, you're